Hey guys, and welcome back to Studio One with me, Gregor. So if you're an avid follower of my playlist here on YouTube, thank you by the way, then you might know my video 5 workflow killers. And this time around, I'd like to do a 4 workflow boosters video to counter that with 4 awesome Studio One features that are easy to miss and that you might not know of yet. So without any further ado, here we go. The first one I want to show you today is event effects. Event effects are so powerful in Studio One. For example, on this drum loop here, let's say I only want to have a big reverb on this snare that I've colored here in purple. Just on that one. In most other DAWs, I would have to go ahead now and add an automation specifically to turn on and off a reverb effect. In Studio One, I can simply go to my browser and go here to the effects section, then just search for any reverb of my choice. In my case, I'm gonna go with the open air here. And then I'm gonna drag and drop that directly onto this event where I want to have the reverb inserted. And before I let go, which would apply this reverb on the entirety of the channel, I'm gonna hold down Option on a Mac or Alt on Windows. Now I'm really just inserting this effect on this one particular snare alone. And that's it. That's all I need to do. It's as easy as that. There's no rendering required, there's no automation required. And if you want to render that in, you can just open up the track inspector by clicking on this eye here, or you can also hit F4 on your keyboard. And if you then go down here, you also have a handle that you can push up. You can render this event effect in. That's once again just inserted on this one event. If I select the one next to it, then it's not there because this is just applied on this snare only. The next awesome feature that I want to show you in Studio One that's easy to miss are bus folders, which help you organize specifically larger mix projects. So right here, I have a couple of drum stems that I'm currently mixing. Right? Of course, I still have to do a bit of fine tuning here and there, but the way I like to work is to go group by group. You know, mix all of my drums, then mix all of my bass, mix all of my synthesizers, and mix all of my guitars. And once I have all of these groups sounding coherent and awesome, I usually just have to mix the bus faders from here, adjust a little bit of panning just on the buses. So this kind of method allows me to separate the task of mixing into the various groups. And once the groups sound awesome within themselves, then it's generally just a question of balance, I find, at least in most cases. So what really helps me with that workflow is the bus folder concept inside of Studio One. First of all, I need to note that tracks and channels do not need to be the same in Studio One. That's different in many other softwares. For example, in Pro Tools, I believe you have to have a one-to-one relationship between your tracks and channels. That means even if these effects here don't have any relevance in my arrangement, I still need to see them in my track list, which I find a bit redundant. I mean, if I want to mix them, then obviously I'm not going to do that from here. This is just a poor man's mixer, as I like to say. I would just go in the mixer console, so why show all of these in my arrangement if I don't need to? This kind of philosophy is also encapsulated in Studio One, and the bus folders help us to take this even further. So you probably know that you can just create a folder for any amount of tracks that you want to consolidate in your view by selecting them. I'm just gonna select the first one and then hold down Shift and select the last one that I want. And then you can right click and pack folder. It's this command right here. Or you can also assign that to a hotkey. In my case, I bound that to the keyboard shortcut Shift and O. Once I do that, all of them can be nicely shown and hidden. And I can take that even further by expanding the track height a bit. And when I do that, you can see how it says none. Now I can just assign a brand new bus or an existing bus to this particular folder. I've already done that, and this comes with several advantages. For one, I now have a direct level control for my bus right here, and if I open up the track inspector, I can also see my bus chain for instant access. What's even cooler is if you click on this wrench icon here, and you enable link visibility of track list and console together with link expansion of visibility of folder tracks, now you can actually show and hide the entirety of your drums, both in the mixer console as well as in the arrangement. So it's really this simple to keep your entire song project nice and consolidated. You can show all of your tracks at a glance with one single click and also hide them. And once you're done mixing all of your drums and all of your bass and all of your guitars and so forth, then you end up with like 6 or 7 faders to mix instead of 70 or 80. Which makes your life a whole lot easier. Another awesome feature that's easy to miss inside of Studio One is Mixdown Selection. This can be used to render down any selection of events with the effects applied and have that inserted on a new track. This essentially allows you to freeze bus channels in their entirety if you want. And let me show you how I like to use this. Okay, so these drums, let's say I'm happy with how they're sounding right now. How can I create a mixdown render of the output of the bus? Well, that's super easy. I literally just click on my folder here. It also works on any selection of events. And then you can right click here, go to event, and then if you move up the list, you should see Mixdown Selection. Click on that. This is going to trigger the mixdown. And as you can see, I now have a new stereo file that's exactly sounding like the bus output. And I also have all of the individual tracks muted because otherwise I would just hear the same thing twice. Now I go ahead, select the first track of the rendered selection, select the last one, and then just right click and disable the tracks. I can also hide them if I want, or I can even trigger all of this within a macro. So this happens at the press of one button. And now just keep working with this mixdown right here. Which means I don't have any CPU eaten up in my project by the drums anymore. And should I ever need to go back, then I can just show the track list right here, show the old tracks that I rendered in again, and then re-enable the tracks with a right click. My fourth and final tip for today has to do with Musicloops. This is the one single feature that has probably driven me towards Studio One the most, and it's going to be super exciting for anybody working with MIDI and virtual instruments. So what I'm going to show you here is not just going to work with Studio One's plugins, but also any kind of third-party instruments and effects as well. I have an Impact XT instance in my case. This is a pattern. You can create a pattern instead of a part inside of Studio One by just holding down Option, that would be on the Mac, or Alt on Windows, and double-clicking on an instrument part. If you would just double-click like so, it would be the regular piano roll part, but if you Option and double-click, then you should see this pattern editor that can be switched between drum mode and melodic mode. I have my own videos covering the pattern editor if you'd like to learn more about that. But what I want to show you right now has to do with the fact that I'm able to select this entire pattern here, including different variations. Let's just skip through them really quickly. This entire thing I can now select and save together with this pattern and all of its variations, plus the virtual instrument, the used preset, the used samples inside, the used output configuration, the multiple outputs in the mixer console, and the insert effect chain on all of these outputs as well. I can save all of that and render an audio loop for preview for later use with one single motion in Studio One. Don't believe me? Just watch. Just go to the Files tab inside of Studio One's browser. Go to any of your folders that you want. I have like an Ideas folder here on my desktop. And then just drag and drop the entire thing onto that browser. That's it. And now if I was in a completely new song, let's just open up a completely different song for argument's sake. Hit OK. Now I can just scroll down, find that loop that I just exported, and then drag and drop that directly into my project. And there it is. That's the exact same pattern with the exact same amount of variations, with the exact same used virtual instrument, outputs, insert effect chains, samples, and Impact XT preset. That is mind-blowing. This allows you to kind of build your own audio loop library because you can just pre-audition all of your loops within the browser as if they were audio. And then when you actually want to commit and you like to have that in your project, you can just drag and drop that in. And the killer is you can still change everything about it. This is not like an audio loop that's kind of set in stone and you have to use Melodyne or you have to transpose stuff to really fundamentally change it. You just get the entire thing as a MIDI loop plus the used instrument and effect, so you can still change every single thing about the sound you're hearing. This kind of control you just don't usually have when you're working with loops. And this is what makes Studio One so special, that you can build your own library of loops that are completely interchangeable and completely modifiable in every parameter imaginable. So hopefully I was able to tell you at least a couple new things today that you didn't know of yet, or reminded you of some of the features that you didn't use in a while to boost up your workflow. Thank you for watching.